With that said about rosemary, it does bring up the conversation about different considerations around cautions in using essential oils because they are such highly concentrated substances. Now, I'm going to be making a video that's specific to safety and precautions in using essential oils, but one thing that I talked about is proper dilution. Now, it is absolutely necessary to properly dilute essential oils to keep from experiencing any negative possible side effects. Now, as a teacher of aromatherapy and herbalism and medicine making, one thing that I commonly come across in the process of teaching is people who consider that they're working with a really high quality substance and so therefore they don't need to take as much precaution. Now, consider that a plant matter or plant of any kind that's steam distilled is going to have this whole alphabet soup of different constituents, and the negative or the possible side effects that could happen from some of those constituents are still going to be in place even in the highest quality of oils. And in that way, I remind people that using a high quality oil does not actually negate the need to be cautious in using that particular product. And I say that because every different essential oil is different in its character and in its qualities. And some specific considerations to keep in mind are things like sensitization. Now, sensitization happens when a person actually creates a histamine-like response from using an essential oil. Now, there are specific essential oils that are known to be sensitizing, and then there are also oils that are, once someone becomes sensitized to them, they can become hypersensitized to other essential oils because that constituent that has caused a negative response in their system is also in another essential oil. Now, each and every essential oil can have anywhere from 100 to 300 different constituents. So you consider the constituent of linalool is actually in a large percentage of the bodies of different essential oils. So if someone is sensitive to that particular constituent, they're going to be sensitive and create a sensitization to all of these other essential oils. And that most commonly happens when people don't dilute essential oils properly, or if they're overly exposed to an essential oil, like in the instance of, for instance, body care workers who are continuously applying essential oils to their clients through the practice of massage. A lot of times they will often become sensitized to particular essential oils. Now, we have the sensitization aspect. We also have the irritation aspect. And there are some essential oils that are known to be irritating, and there are some essential oils that become more irritating as they are oxidized or exposed to different elements, which is why it's really important to use your essential oils in a timely manner and not hold on to them for an indefinite amount of time. I often suggest that if people tell me that they have a stockpile of essential oils that are tucked away in a drawer somewhere for a number of years, and they're citrus oils and different oils that I know to have a shorter shelf life, I'll suggest that they use them for cleaning products rather than using them for anything therapeutically. And again, that quality of the oil doesn't negate that caution. So we've spoken about sensitization and we've spoken about irritation. Now let's talk a little bit about photosensitization. Now, this is something that's more common in citrus oils, and not all citrus oils, but in a large number of them. And what it means is that when you apply this oil to your body, your skin is actually more sensitive to UVA rays from the sun. And so people can get burns and markings on their skin that look like very severe sunburns, and in some cases they are permanent. So it is really important to avoid oils that are known to be photosensitizing on any skin that's going to be exposed to the sun 12 hours after you apply that oil. Now, one particular oil that we need to be specifically cautious when using is bergamot. And bergamot is not only photosensitizing, it is photocarcinogenic, which means that when you apply it to the skin, if your skin is exposed to the sun, it can actually create cancer lesions on the skin. Now, you can avoid this by purchasing only bergaptine-free bergamot, which actually has that furocumarin constituent removed, and that's not always accessible in some of these larger scale essential oil companies. So it's very, very important, if you are making products that people are using on the skin, that they're going to be exposed to sun, that you only work with bergamot that is bergaptin free. So very, 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 very important. Please heed this warning. Then there are also other essential oils, as I referenced rosemary earlier, that are known to be something that epileptics should avoid. And then there are also essential oils that are known to be blood thinners when used. So it's important to consider that even though people have classified essential oils as natural substances, one would never stumble upon a vial of essential oil in nature. They aren't natural in that way. Like, a lavender plant is, right? I would actually have to distill like a huge field of lavender just to like get lavender essential oil. So they are very different substances, and so in that way they're not able to be used interchangeably with, say, tea, for example. I would never, as an aromatherapist, suggest that someone drink lavender essential oil as a substitute for drinking lavender tea, because there are a lot more cautions when considering using it. Now, as I had stated before, as a trained clinical aromatherapist, I actually caution people against using essential oils internally, because when people use them that way, they highly increase their possibility of creating negative side effects to their body. I also am an herbalist, so I recognize that there are other forms of botanical medicine that are actually more appropriate depending on what someone wants to use it for. Now, I do often come across people who have been miseducated in that every single form is interchangeable, and for instance, they'll use lemon essential oil in their water thinking that it gives them vitamin C, but lemon essential oil doesn't have vitamin C, and the vitamin C in lemon is actually found in the juice, in the fruit, and in the bioflavonoids that are in the pith of the lemon itself. And you do get some minute droplets of lemon essential oil when you squeeze a lemon into your water, but you're also getting the whole plant, which is much easier for the body to work with than just the simple lemon essential oil. And consider that lemon essential oil also, it floats on water. It's not actually going to disperse in that water, and it's also caustic. So it is actually something in aromatherapy that we will use topically to break down warts and break down very hard calloused tissue of skin. And if I, for instance, dropped lemon essential oil on my wood table that's holding up my computer right now, and left it those few drops of lemon on my table for a number of hours, it would strip the stain off of my table. So there are constituents in these essential oils that aren't equal to the same thing as the whole plant itself. And so it is very important to consider that and to take that into mind and think critically when using it, and see if it's actually the appropriate thing to use. Also considering that it does have such a large environmental impact to grow that much plant material to only produce such a small amount of finished product. So in that way, I hope to have you think about things a little bit differently as far as which form of botanical therapeutic is most appropriate for what you are wanting to use it for. If you do have any other questions that are specific, or concerns, or anything you'd like to share about your own experience, feel free to list them down below or leave a comment down below, and let me know which videos and which direction you think would be most useful for you to learn about. I often have people request for a safety and aromatherapy video, also aromatherapy safety around using them with pets, which also is an area where you need to use a high amount of caution, because the livers in different animals are built differently, and different animals are more sensitive to plants and more sensitive to specifically essential oils. So those are other classes that I'm considering. And if there is anything else that has piqued your interest, just let me know, and we'll make something about that in the future. I wish you well, and I hope you have some fun blending and creating products.